Cut out all these heavy breathings, okay?
I think it should start all dark and heavy breathing.
That's a great idea.
And then just the logo of the Mid-South come up. That's the reality.
So beautiful outside. Could not have gotten a better day.
I know, for real.
Let's do it. So yeah, how's it feel to be reunited with the bike? Like, you've been running for how many years now since? Like, when did you really stop riding, like fixed gear type stuff and that type of thing?
I stopped riding probably in 2013.
Okay.
I had actually a couple of knee injuries, knee surgery, and I was like burnt out on cycling. And I was a messenger in Boston for just a tiny bit, and then I moved to New York City where that's what I did. And that was 2004.
So intense, dude.
Yeah, and then I raced the track. So, you know, I lived on the bike 24/7. And it just got to a point to where I was like, I needed something different. And be healthier as well. So I picked up running.
Did you know right away that you wanted to do long distance running, like up to the 100 miles?
Definitely not.
Really?
It was a struggle just to even get 3 miles done without stopping.
Yes.
And then it was like, okay, let's do a lot of 5Ks and try to get better at my time. And it just went from there, you know, from doing a mile nonstop for 3 to 5Ks, better in my time from 30 minutes down to 20 minutes. And now it's like sub 17. And it's a journey, you know, and then the longer distances came in.
Yeah, like when did that bug kind of bite? Like when did you know, like, all right, I know I want to do a 100-mile foot race?
That was about 3 years ago. I knew I had to work my way up to it, do like 50Ks, hanging out at 50Ks for a year and a half, then let's hang out at 50 miles for a year and a half, let's hang out at 100Ks for a year and a half, and just jump around in between all those distances till I feel absolutely comfortable with my body in these long distances. And then let's do the 100, you know? Yep. Some athletes, some runners go straight into it, but you know, I wanted to make sure I treated my body right in it, in the build up, and just enjoy all those distances in between.
Yeah, so like 7 years of dabbling, and then bam.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
And then now, you know, thanks to you and your team and what you do in Stillwater where I grew up, I found the bike again in a new way, really, in a new light. It's kind of like bridging my art. Same thing that running's doing, because I'm working with Goo Energy, Goo Nutrition, and Rising Hearts, and we're doing a lot of like community building through collaborations. It's just all these beautiful aspects and intersections I didn't think was possible through being an artist and being an artist that practices wellness through movement, you know?
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I am back on the bike now, and I'm loving it. I'm loving the possibilities and the adventure.
Like, the thing I love most about riding on dirt, and these dirt roads specifically outside of what is now my hometown and where you grew up, is that even after one rain, it can be different than it was the last time you were there. So I just feel like dirt riding in its own way is constantly new, even if it's the same place that you've been riding for me now over a decade. And I love sharing that with people. And man, I just feel like, I don't know, I know lucky's a weird word or whatever, but I feel really lucky to be connected to you through these projects and through the fact of you now being here and coming up to do the Mid-South, do the double for the second time.
Yeah, it's beautiful, and like you just said, you know, it's different each year with the new course, and we'll see if the 50K course will be covered in snow or not. Yeah. But regardless, I'm looking forward to the adventure and the camaraderie of community of it. Because it is home out here, so.
It is.
You know, regardless of the situation, So how much elevation gain is in the 2023 Mid-South?
Hopefully, the way it's looking right now, the 100-mile course will be as close to 100 miles as it's ever been, because normally we do like 105, 107. But this one should be over 6,000 feet of climbing, right at 100 miles, which is about the most we've ever had, actually. And why I'm so out of breath, all right now, because we're climbing.
So it's impossible to have a course record, is it?
Yes and no. We do like keep tabs on the fastest times, even though the courses aren't the same.
Yeah.
And right now, Cole Patton has it from last year at sub 5 hours. So it was like 4:48 or something like 4:45.
Yeah.
Crazy. So tell me how it felt to be on the start line for the Mid-South for the first time.
It's super exciting. I didn't know what the hell was gonna happen.
Right? Which would have been the 50K, right? For the double, that was the first time you were on the start line.
Yeah. Well, the run wasn't really like a worry.
Okay, that's true, I guess.
I mean, not that I'm like gonna like win it or anything, probably, but it's like, yeah, I know how to do this part, but it's like, how are my legs gonna feel for the 100-mile bike ride the next day?
Yeah.
You know, so I at the same time I didn't want to like overexert, because I knew I had to do an equivalent of exertion the next day. So.
And that was your first ever gravel century.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think prior to that I was only cycling like 30 miles. I mean, I was with you, Ken, just coming to Stillwater.
That's right.
Doing the group rides and to get me ready. But now I've been training, getting ready for this one.
Well, I can't wait for you to see this new course.
Yeah, I can't wait to ride it.
I'm trying to pour my entire self into it for this year. We're going to Perry. It's the first time we've ever repeated a halfway point town, actually. And the whole town of Perry is really stoked to have us. But yeah, man, it's gonna be.
What mile is Perry?
52-ish right now. So just over 50 miles.
Yeah, and I guess the infamous weather report for Mid-South, yet to be determined, is always a factor.
If I had a gut feeling, I'd say it's gonna be pretty terrible weather.
Not what you want to hear, but manageable.
Always manageable.
Bring your paint stick.
100%. When you were a kid growing up in Stillwater, did you ever think that an event like this was possible, or like would ever cross your mind that thousands of people would be lining up to ride dirt roads in your backyard?
No, well, I was really into skateboarding, and I did have a mountain bike, a Peugeot mountain bike.
Yeah.
But we did have one dirt track that we made. It was like on a block, and we'd ride that thing around, ride our bikes around, have mini races. We built the dirt ramp. Remember, I knocked my breath out a few times. I think when you're a kid, you know, you're just interested in having a good time and enjoying being a kid, you know?
If anyone would have told me when I was a kid that I was actually gonna be able to ride my bike 25 miles, 50 miles, 100 miles, I would have told them that they were absolutely crazy. It was like the furthest thing from my mind as well. Baseball was it, and that was where it was.
I mean, when I was younger, I was like 4 or 5, my dad did do that ride from North Carolina to Oklahoma.
Oh, that's right.
So I knew that the capabilities of long distance riding was a thing, even early in my life. And seeing bikes and helmets and like bike caps and gears, it was a thing that was a part of who I was at an early age. So, and to be honest, like I'm just really thankful that that was a part of my life, and that there was culture instilled in me through cycling, actually.
Because that's what a lot of us that grew up in this middle part of the country didn't have that.
Yeah.
Not even close.
Yeah, and so I'm just really thankful that that was part of my life. Really, I'm just thankful to to be alive and be able to bike.
You know, I was just gonna say, like, I truly believe that movement is medicine.
Yeah.
Like, probably some of the best medicine we could possibly have, and some of the best preventative kind of like care and maintenance we could do on our, not just our bodies, but our souls, man, our minds. And like, that's kind of the driving force behind the creation of District and Mid-South, is that a lot of times people, stay home, stay home. That's too perfect. Stay home. Go home. Good boy.
Have you ever known anyone to get like severely attacked or like fallen off their bike because
We've
of
had
it?
2 people bitten in town. Really close to town. The thing I hate the most is when they come up on you at dark in the nighttime, and sometimes they're super sneaky about it. And you don't know they're there until that low growl, that and you're just like, no, 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 please.
You see 2 glowing eyes.
Yeah, feel the breath on your ankles. But yeah, most of the time people like, not only are they not exposed to it, but they just don't believe in themselves.
Yeah.
The whole idea behind the race and the culture of the shop is that you are worthy and you're capable, 100%. So I just want to keep pumping that idea through the race and spread it as far as we can.
Yeah. And that's kind of the same with running, where I'm kind of trying to work with groups or people that you want this to be a welcoming space,
Yeah.
inclusive, and just bottom line, like to get you healthy, to make you feel a happiness or discover something new. You know, it all evolves. Every year it's going to be different, and it has to have so much collective perseverance and persistence with it every year.
100%.
You know?
Do you feel like you get a lot of creative ideas and creative boosts whenever you're riding and when you're running?
Oh yeah, it gives me time to like just kind of figure it out. Maybe the move for the week or something, you know? Like,
Yes.
okay. Because we live in a time where it's all in your face. We're on the computer, we're on our phones. We have so many responsibilities. And I mean, yeah, that's a given and that's great. And I'm thankful that I'm busy in a positive way. But a thing I think that's most overlooked in our daily lives is to practice this stillness and find something that we can find within ourselves that brings us happiness and creates kind of a wholesomeness, but through wellness, you know?
I think of it as clarity, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
Clarity.
I can only get clear when I don't feel like I'm trapped inside whatever box that I am thankful for, but have to be trapped inside of day in and day out. And yeah, open space and movement and the roads, they just give me clarity. And I think some of like, what I would consider some of my best ideas 100% have come from the bike. I know it's like super cliche, but it's 100% true, and I forget it a lot of times. And then even just like this, 15-mile ride, and bam, I feel better.
Yeah.
Things seem possible that didn't before.
And that's the beauty of movement. That's the magic of moving through space, the hour, the minute, the wind. That's what happens, you know? It's like, you're not supposed to fully understand it, but just appreciate it.
I feel like your bike and the way you painted it screams movement. It like screams outside of the box. It, I don't know, kind of screams clarity amongst chaos. That's kind of what I feel whenever I look at it.
But yeah, it's like a part of chaos too, you know? You have to like find a balance. And that's riding a bike, that's racing, that's being alive. You gotta find a balance that works for you, that can work for you. Experiment, be adventurous, take risks.
It's worth it. Dude, that sunset. Yes. Oh, man. You know, I feel like so often, like more often than not, like we seek simplification of things and we seek comfort. But man, I don't know, I'm thankful for the hard things. I feel like the hard things that I've been able to experience, and like, if all these roads were just flat and the only hard thing that we had against us was the wind, then I honestly, I wouldn't have the same connection to them, I think, that I do because of the roughness of the roads and the climbs.
Yeah.
So I don't know, I'm just thankful for hard things.
I think without the friction, the wear and tear, the sanding to make us finer, you know?
Right.
We need that.
The sanding to make us finer, I love that. I've never thought of that before.
We're very durable, you know, but we can only take so much, but yet we can endure so much. But I know through these long distance runs that I've done that takes up to 50 hours at, you know, on some of those hard ones, I have like over 40,000 of elevation climbing. It's like, or even 20 plus hours, that you come out the other side as a new person, you know? You have to problem solve, you have to train, you have to sacrifice a lot, and you discover a lot. You lose a lot, you shed a lot. You know, I in the whole process of running these distances, I've looked at life a bit different. It's how something so special, the beautiful moments in the race and training, the relationships that you build, of the community and friends that are there to support you or crew you, you know?
Oh yeah.
Like that's the most sublime and beautiful aspects of it. But you realize how life can jump from one thing to other. And these moments are so fleeting in life that we have to really appreciate them, you know? Just like us on these bikes right now with a beautiful sunset.
It's 70 degrees in December.
Yeah.
I don't think any of these roads on this course suck so far.
Yeah, this is pretty butter, man.
So here's like my rubric for like what makes a road one that I want to share with somebody. And first and foremost, it's width. Like if it's wide, then a lot of times that means it's well traveled, it's got a lot of maintenance, it's probably got deeper rock, less dirt is exposed, and then the faster people drive on it, right?
Yeah.
So if it's like a 2-lane or a 3-lane, you know, where the cars have to, you know, be cognizant of how they pass each other if there are cars out there, immediately in my brain, I'm like, all right, tight. This is a good road. The tree cover just being close and giving a dynamic of like just different light depending on where the sun is during the day, that is tight. You know, if the sun can't get to a lot of roads, then they're way muddier.
Okay, yeah, true.
And then a lot of times, you know, the ruts are deeper, and then whenever it's dry like this, it's almost better than pavement.
Yeah, oh, this is...
I mean, it is better than pavement.
You can fly on this. I mean, you can go up to 30 miles an hour up on this stuff,
yeah,
you know?
no problem. And then also you don't have to worry about traffic, so you can be as deeply connected to your surroundings as you allow yourself to be. And that to me is like, that's perfection. If the road lends itself to feeling like it's just a part of the land that's around it instead of something that was cut through in a really invasive way, to me that's a tip-top road, and that's one I want to share. So a lot of times we're finding B roads with bridges that aren't drivable anymore, and bikes can still make it through, or they're not completely closed to traffic through fencing or whatever, and that's definitely a place that we're gonna go.
Do you ever have to ask people on their properties, like, hey,
Oh yeah.
we see this like road here, can we look at it? Like,
So Buckhorn Cattle Company, just on the other side of I-35, when we went to Guthrie, they have their own private cattle tunnel for the cattle trucks to come in underneath I-35, and we got access to that to go on their property for like 1.25 miles for the race. And actually now, dude, they're our supplier for the DFO, the Longhorn Skull, and we get it from them every year. And they can sell those things for like $1,200, and they sell it to us for, you know, like $200 just because it's for the race.
so whoever gets it's like, is this, you said DFL?
Yeah, that's DFL.
Man. So they're like, oh, great. How am I gonna take this on the airplane?
Luckily, that hasn't had to happen yet. Everyone that's won has been like almost semi-local enough.
That's good, that's good.
Again, like I appreciate you, and I feel just so lucky to be connected to you through friendship and movement, and and art, and I don't know, you've been a big inspiration for a long time, so I don't know, man, thank you for everything.